I don't know, it's a little bit like only breathing through one nostril, this whole part of life that's kind of missing.
Hey everybody, it's Molly Stone, Associate Director of Live Performance at Catamount Arts, coming to you from my kitchen. Several months ago, I started Catamoments because I knew that we needed to stay connected, and I was hoping that we would be back in our venues by now, but we're not. So, I'm here to tell you that we have adapted, and we have live performances happening every weekend now through August. So if you haven't heard already, it's called the Drive-In to Stay Safe Movie and Concert Series, and it's happening in partnership with Northern Vermont University. So we have a movie or a concert happening on Saturdays at NVU-Johnson, and then a movie or a concert happening at NVU-Lyndon on Sundays. And that entire lineup is at catamountarts.org. You can check out what's coming up, purchase your tickets, pre-buy your tickets. You can even choose to add a donation to that ticket price to help us get through these very unpredictable times. And we don't know what's going to happen as we go into the fall. Right now, our doors are closed. Our art center is staying closed to the public at least through August. And we just don't know what happens next. So while we're rolling out these brand new ideas, we would really love to have you come and join us in the lot at NVU-Johnson and NVU-Lyndon. Because right now, this is all we have. We are thinking, we are forward thinking, we are always being creative and thinking of what we can do as we move forward. But in these times of being in the moment, please be in the moment with us and join us at one of our shows, either at Johnson or Lyndon. All right, with that said, today's Catamoment, we are featuring one of our artists who will be playing the stage at NVU-Lyndon on August 16th. Sunday, August 16th at 7 p.m. will feature my friend Dan Houghton. And Dan Houghton is a multi-instrumental Celtic musician. He's absolutely brilliant. And he has been with the band Cantrip for years and has released a couple of his own solo CDs, and this is one of them. So Dan has just released Border Pipe Personality Disorder. It is a fantastic album. You can get it on Bandcamp right now, and you can hear him play these tunes live at NVU-Lyndon on August 16th. So Dan and I sat down last evening, had a glass of wine, and talked about what it's like, again, being an artist during these times. And we talked about the upcoming show and what it looks like in the future for all of us. So tune in for my interview with Dan, and then stay tuned for Dan's brand new music video, which he created by himself with some help, but mostly by himself. It's a reflection of him. It is absolutely stellar. So again, thank you for coming and joining us with these, or for these Catamoments for the last several months. We're gonna keep on doing them to stay connected. But to stay even more connected, please come and see one of our shows up at Northern Vermont University. All right, so here's that interview with Dan. Enjoy. Hey Dan, thanks for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
So, as I ask all of my guests on this Catamoment show, since the show was developed right after we went into COVID-19 lockdown, it's a way to connect with people during a time where we can't be together. I always ask how my guest has been doing personally in their life over the last few months.
Let's see. Oddly enough, in some ways, the whole lockdown thing hasn't changed the flow of my life a great deal. I mean, I live in a 20 by 20 cabin in the middle of the woods, and, at times I worry that, I'm kind of turning into Ted Kaczynski without the explosives. But yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is in terms of just the the choices that we can make. Because, you know, whether or not I'm living the secluded life, you know, it'd be nice to know that I could go to the pub, or that I could go visit friends without it being a big, you know, like, where have you been for the last 2 weeks and what are you doing? I mean, it's not like back in the 80s where, you know, a condom and you're fine. It doesn't really work that way now.
But it is very similar. I've heard that the preventative measures have been equated to the safe sex movement, you know, how to keep yourself safe, like in asking others, are you keeping yourself safe? Is because that keeps me safe. It's like, it's the conversation all over again, just in a different way, which I find very comical, and it's the reality.
Aye.
So yeah, you're in a secluded area, but you would be out doing gigs. So how is that going?
Yeah, how has it been going? It feels like, I don't know, it's a little bit like only breathing through one nostril, you know. There's this whole part of life that's kind of missing. Yeah. I mean, there've been, at least 2 tours now that have been cancelled. You know, with Cantrip, I have, you know, we're sort of looking now at really doing things for definite next autumn, maybe in the spring, depending on, you know, the state of the universe. Yeah, I mean, in terms of music, I've been contenting myself with, you know, a bit of playing with friends who have also been in quarantine. I've been doing some stuff with a harpist by the name of Rachel Clemente. We've done a couple of live stream gigs, which are fun. I mean, it's a chance to play, it's a chance to, you know, whatever, get some feedback, but ultimately you're playing and talking to a piece of plastic that's sitting on the table, and if you were to look at it in profile, you'd look like an idiot. Just kind of like, you might as well be talking to a lamp. Which is a little bit tough to deal with.
Don't I know it? Yeah. Yeah, it's been really strange talking to cell phones more than usual. So yeah, I mean, talk about Cantrip a little bit. Those guys. So in this hits on international travel, which is just not allowed right now, and that affects you greatly. So can you explain that a little bit?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen any of those guys since, oh dear Lord, haven't seen any of them since I think October, maybe even September. You know, we're all stuck right now in different countries, and almost on different continents. Well, in some cases we are stuck on different continents. And in that regard, it feels very isolating. And I mean, you know, even though I've, you know, Skyped and Zoomed with John and Eric, it's still very, it's hard to keep, I guess it's hard to keep aim on goals, because, you know, we've been working on some video stuff, and we've been working on trying to put together some, you know, live stuff. But there's a very unnatural feel about it when, and there's a very disjointed feel. And I mean, I have the world's worst time with deadlines at the best of times. So now it's even more like, you know, I wouldn't go so far as to say there's a sense of like, why are we doing this? But there is kind of that feeling of, well, we're sort of stuck in this temporal limbo, and the only thing that tells me that time is passing is the number of wine bottles that accumulate in my recycling. it could be, today could be a Thursday in May. It could be, a Saturday in September. It really,
right.
It's disjointed. And so it's hard to keep kind of focus on moving projects forward.
Yeah. And on that, while you were saying it's something, what you said a couple of minutes ago, I thought of, the target keeps moving, for us in the creative field, either, for you, when you said that those guys, last time you saw them was in October, I had to recall what month it is now. Like it's really hard to, when tours happen, and I know that Cantrip, those guys would come over in the fall, they come over in the spring, and you start to tell time by when you have your tours, and for us, we, as presenters, we tell time by, it's the summer series, it's the fall series, and all of that is out the window. And so our target keeps moving. But one thing that you have been doing and been working on for years and is finally now in the reel is your CD. And this is super exciting because, and I want you to speak about what I know that is dear to your heart and mine, about how this can encompass what we're going through during these times in terms of mental wellness, mental disturbance. I think this really is applicable right now during this time. So tell us about your brand new CD.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of CDs in general as being a sort of snapshot of, the musical state of things in my life at a particular time. But this is more of a kind of smear across 10 years since I put the last one out. I mean, there are a couple of tracks on there that kind of got their start right after I finished the last one. And it's been kind of accumulating bits of things in my hard drive when I, think of something at 2 a.m. and it's like, oh, better go record that kind of thing. So it really was kind of it was an accumulation and a sort of aggregation of the experiences of the last 10 years, which, have involved, I mean, since the last CD came out, I've had 2 kids and been married and divorced and, discovered a whole host of things about what make me, I guess. Including, I guess, my reasons for having done 2 CDs almost completely on my own, which, I don't know, some might argue is antithetical to what this music is about. On the other hand, it's kind of one of those things that keeps me occupied, keeps me focused, and it keeps me sane. Just kind of doing bits of whatever when I've got the time and when the inspiration hits, since I always seem to find myself living, at least an hour from my physically closest friends. So it's really kind of been in a lot of ways, it's been a personal exploration in music, including, coming to terms with things like depression and ADHD and figuring out how to cope with life with those challenges, and how to not see those things as holes in who I am, but rather part of the whole that I am. And that's been complicated at times.
Yes, I know that very well. And, and for people who don't know, that you and I are really great friends, and it has been an honor to get to know you these past several years, and to see this CD come to life and to see how you work, and I'm so glad that you have just framed it the way that you did, that they're not holes in you, they're part of the whole of you. And your artwork, I think it's very Dan Houghton, honestly. You know, it is you, you know, doing it individually. Can you speak about your video that you created pretty much on your own with some assistance? But Mad Tam is a video that is incredible, so powerful. I just want you to speak about how you decided to have the visual that you presented that went along with the tune.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I guess the whole video making thing kind of started out as a venture in trying to just get music up on, you know, Facebook and YouTube and whatever, just to kind of get stuff out there. And it sort of felt a little bit like, you know, if you're making and wanting to sell guacamole, you've kind of got to have some chips as well to, you know, give people to put the guacamole on. And so I started making chips as well as guacamole. And actually, the whole kind of venture started out with Ian McCargan and I just kind of playing around with the camera and tripod and, you know, just coming up with some silly stuff. When I started working on that video, I did not have a plan at all. It's a Tam of Bedlam is a song that has, you know, always intrigued me for various reasons. Partly because of its, you know, allusions to archetypes, I suppose, from the kind of the legends of madness and madness in mythology and folktale, and the role of madness in society, whatever we decide that madness is. But it kind of just grew. It really kind of grew out of my shooting a bunch of footage. And that sort of making me think, oh, if I got this shot, then I could do this. And if I got this, then I could do this. And then cutting it together and then looking at it, all of a sudden the story kind of came out. And, you know, I suddenly had this realization as I was watching one of the early cuts. It was like, oh my God, this is a visual and musical representation of what goes on inside my head. Yes. You know, this is me, and oh dear Lord, get me back to therapy.
For real. But it's like, you know, carving out of stone. I mean, it was there. You just had to pull the bits away to show what you were in the end going to present. You know, it is a reflection of you, for sure. Yeah. And it is a brilliant video, and we will show it here either after this interview or before, so people will get to see it. Something else that's coming up, and the CD is out, and people can get it at Bandcamp. Is that correct?
Yep, it's on Bandcamp. You can also get to it. I've been in the process of rebuilding my website for about 2 months now. I've been telling myself I'd get it done. There's a sort of proto website that's there, and it's got enough features on it that you can get to where you can buy either of my CDs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of many.
Yeah, right now I've only got my two solo ones up there. You know, Cantrip CDs can be got through the Cantrip website and that whole thing. Yeah, so that's currently available. But
so people can get it right now, but we are going to do a CD release concert coming up on August 16th, which is a Sunday in August, and it is a drive-in format concert, and you are going to be the third artist in a series of 4 concerts, and interspersed with movies that we're doing as well. So people can buy tickets at catamountarts.org. Right now, I suggest they do that. and they can pick up your CD at Bandcamp and come and support you and your brand new CD at NVU-Lyndon on August 16th. Now, you have some band members that you've invited. Can you tell me a little bit about those folks?
Yeah, sure. So because the CD was a lot of, layering of I'm trying to, without sounding pretentious about it, I'm trying to recreate myself in a band. So I've got my mate Hazen Metro playing pipes and whistle. I've got Rachel Clemente playing harp, and this is going to be a fun experiment in using the harp for a whole range of different applications. And I've got Matt Broward playing guitar, probably a bit of pipes, maybe some fiddle. I'm still working out all of the arrangements and trying to get a picture. I've never done anything like this before. I mean, like with Cantrip and any of the other bands that I've worked with, it's always been, we get together with an idea and we sit around and put it together, amongst, at least three of us. I'm trying to channel my inner Frank Zappa and like score it all out and, figure out, exactly what's going where. And it's a completely new process for me. I have never done this, but I am really looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. And it's not pretentious to say that you're recreating yourself. I mean, you don't play the harp as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you play everything else on the album, or you could.
I don't play fiddle either, but...
okay, yes. But you are a multi-instrumentalist to the max. I mean, you are just amazing, and that's not pretentious.
Thank you.
So a lot of the work, you're putting in so much work, and I encourage everyone out there who's watching this interview and who have been following the concerts at NVU-Johnson and NVU-Lyndon to buy your tickets and attend. Artists are still working really hard to put their art out there, and this is the new normal. I hate to say it, but this is what we're looking at for the foreseeable future. So Dan, from the bottom of my heart, as your friend, I appreciate everything you've done and everything that you will do going forward, and I'm excited to see what happens next for you. And thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I likewise am honored to count myself amongst your friends.
All right. Well, until we see each other in August, take care.
And you. We'll make this happen.
To see my Tam of Bedlam, 10,000 miles I've travelled. My modelling goes on dirty toes for to save her shoes from gravel. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink nor money. To break me fast one morning, and there I got so piping hot that on the spit were turning. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink nor money. There I took a cauldron where boiled 10,000 harlots. No fool or flame, I drank the same to the health of all such varlets. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live Catamount's my pack along knife carries. The government's buys from children's lives with a witch to feed the fairies. That's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money. No gypsy slut, no dogsy will take me my tongue from me. I'll dance all night and with stars fight, but the fray shall well become me. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money. From the hag and hungry goblin that interacts with a rangy, all the sprites that stand by the naked man in the book of moons defending. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money. The moon's my constant mistress and the lonely owl my marrow. The flaming drake and night crow make me music to me sorrow. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money. The spirit's heart has lightning would on the journey guide me. The stars would shake and pale moon quake whene'er they dare despy me. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money. But the same at Tam of Bedlam, 10,000 miles of travel, when modelling goes on dirty toes for to save our shoes from gravel. Yeah, it's well I sing, bonny boys, bonny bad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, for they all go bare and they live in the air and they want no drink, no money.
Thank you so much, Dan, for joining me on Catamoment's. And until next time, you can tune into what we're doing at Catamount Arts by going to the webpage at catamountarts.org. And you can get involved with Hey NEK, What's Your Art, which is continuing on through the rest of August, or the COVID Quilt, and that is taking submissions until the end of August as well. So until next time, stay well.
Catamount Arts would like to thank these sponsors for their continued support.